Good evening, everybody, and welcome to DermapenWorld Synergy of Solutions. On behalf of myself and the whole UK DermapenWorld team, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you get a lot out of this evening. The team are on this Zoom this evening as well, so if you have any questions, you can pop those in the chat and they can help answer them. If there's anything else, we can do a little bit of Q&A at the end, where I'll answer those questions for you. So let's start at the very beginning and the whole reason we're really here and the whole reason why the synergy of solutions is applicable to all of us when it comes to our clinical operations. So first and foremost, we can't do anything without this game-changing device. Dermapen has been around for over 12 years. It's the first ever automated vertical needling device, as I'm sure a lot of you are aware. The Dermapen 4 has gone through unbelievable updates and is extremely different than any other device on the market. They've really updated and really changed quite a lot from the inception devices. We now have a 16 needle cartridge that goes up to 3 mil in depth. It has an FDA speed of 120 RPS with 1920 puncture channels per second. And that's part of the FDA. We're not just saying that randomly. It does have an app technology, which some people kind of raise their eyebrows at. It's actually one of the best things ever. It is an unbelievable safety profile for you. It does not need the app to work at all. It's there to update. It makes sure that the pen is synced, that it's updated, and any malware or any upgrades from Australia are directed straight through to that device. It also means that not only the pen, but the needle itself converse. So the needle and the pen talk to each other, which gives you accurate depth every single time. And that is something that can only be done by constant updating from head office. So it's actually a very exciting concept and a very new one. Starting the synergy, what they've created is some new innovations surrounding the products that we are using to inject into the skin during our needling treatment. The first one is hyalofuse, calcisomes, telomeres, and exosomes, which I'm sure all of you are interested in hearing about. So the first one is the patented hyalofuse technology. Now, HA has been used for an awfully long time, as we know, and also HA has its issues. We need to know where it comes from. We need to know the backstory behind it, depending on the size, the weight, and all those sorts of things. So with that, what we need is to make sure that the HA that we are implanting into the skin via the needling technology is going to kickstart our natural forms of HA. That's where we have regenerative, because obviously HA doesn't live terribly long outside the body or inside when it's a fake formulation. In this environment, we've got it completely differently. They've got a triple molecular weight, so it's 1610 day DA, Dalton weight. So dependent on the serum of choice is how much of, or if in fact is actually used within that product. We have clinical evidence. We have an encapsulated system, and it's an unsurpassed concentration of 35 milligrams of HA, which is really high. We also have two other ingredients. One is the calcisome, which is a very interesting concept. It's hydroxyapatite, actually, and it's derived from a mineral called calcium. This helps with regeneration of cells. It's a collagen precursor. The barrier forming lipids helps cells to be cohesive, stick together, like each other, and it helps to maintain, so importantly, the stratum corneum. With telomere, it's a Nobel Prize professor came up with this. What it basically is our telomeres is a long tubular kind of a deal, vertical, and as our cells replicate, this tube starts to break away from its top, slowly and shortening as it goes through life. As we get lower and lower and lower, the telomere cannot shorten anymore, and suddenly we start to get the grey hair, the wrinkles, and our weakened immune system. telomere technology is a little bit like a Q-tip. Think of the central part as a telomere and the itself, and then on top of it you have the cotton which protects it. That's the telomere technology. We try and replace that to stop the regression of that telomere breaking down as quickly. Now, let's get on to the one that so many of you are interested in. I'm not going to go into huge detail tonight because, as I'm sure you're aware, on the 31st, we have an evening dedicated to purely exosomes. So please join up for that, and you will go into a lot more detail about the exosomes themselves. So first and foremost, we see this a lot in the marketplace at the moment. There are so many products out there, including exosomes, which are derived from various other sources, mainly vegetables, apples, fruits, even cows, bovine, all of these sorts of things. Now, let's make it extremely simple because it really is simple. Plant and animal cells or stem cells can provide an awful lot of antioxidants. They're great. The vitamins and mineral content in them is amazing. But a stem cell, absolutely not. It cannot. A stem cell, an exosome, it's not rocket science at the end of the day. We have to be the same thing, the same, whether we're human, vegetable, plant, mineral, we have to be the same for it to replicate. So, for example, you can't replicate an exosome from a mushroom and expect that to work on us, and vice versa. It just absolutely can't. I've got something that people keep screaming at me that's going to be written on my tombstone, actually, because over the last 10 years or so, there's been an influx of a specific stem cell that is used in many products, and it's the green apple stem cell. And my response to that has always been, do I look like an apple? However flippant that comment is, it's absolutely true. An apple stem cell will work beautifully on another apple, but it will do nothing for us. So when it comes to anything regenerative, it has to be human derived when it comes to us, just like it would have to be apple derived from them, and the same with any other vegetable or mineral. Now, exosomes themselves are a fascinating subject, and we have scratched the surface right now. As I said, there'll be more detail next week, but up until very recently, they were considered waste. You have the average size of a cell, and then to the side of it, or when you look at it to the side of it, the exosome is minute in comparison. So you can imagine how small this actually is. It's a messenger. It works with collagen induction, it's angiogenesis, it's cellular proliferation. It has over 20 years of research. It boosts the skin's natural repair process. So think of it like a bunch of letters. Every single cell produces millions of exosomes, and they are pushed out of the cell and they start to travel, in some cases, very long distances. They then enter that cell. The cell sees the envelope, opens it, reads the information inside, and acts accordingly. Now, that is exactly, in very simple terms, what an exosome does. However, it's got so much more to it than just that. The studies, as we speak, are ongoing in relationship to things like cancer research, cardiovascular dementias. Because can you think about it, if these are messengers, how incredible could it be if you can turn that message off, if you could stop that message from being delivered? Just think about that for a second. It's quite incredible. So we have a patented immune tolerance technology within our exosomes, which makes it hugely different than anything else. Because obviously anything unnatural or fake that's not made or created by us, our immune system will automatically jump into gear and basically kill it off. We have the ability to, with those patented immune tolerant ingredients, stop that from happening. The way it works and the way it happened was, originally it came from Wharton's jelly, and more recently, and more studies have come through where it's taken from amniotic fluid. But amniotic fluid is obviously usually 12 weeks pregnant. During pregnancy, amniotic fluid is taken and tested. Most of that product is then gotten rid of. At this point, it is taken and tested and then goes through this bioidentical environment where it can be manipulated and changed, adapted, a little bit like going through a mining for gold. You're sieving that gold out, and what's left is the really good bits of gold and all the other stuff that's gone through. What happens is it becomes bioidentical, synthetically replicated, biomimetically synthesized, human compatible, whichever one of those you want to use. Inside of this, we have over 1,000 peptides and 800 plus extracellular matrix structural and biological components, nearly 373 lipids, and an enormous antioxidant potential. It's absolutely quite incredible how they came up with creating this unbelievable thing. So as it goes through this natural source, so human original sourcing, after the biomimetical replication and then through nanobiotechnology, it's completely synthesized for maximum use and is human component free by that point. I hope that makes sense. Next week, it'll be more in depth. I have a great analogy that I use all the time of like a photocopier, where you put the original into the photocopier, you press copy, out the other side comes an identical copy in every other way, apart from it's not the original anymore. The other thing that just to quickly jump on, there are a couple of drugs out there that are used the world over. One is HRT. HRT is now exactly the same tonic technology. It's biomimetically replicated. It's not human anymore. It hasn't been for a while. And the big one is insulin. So obviously we all know that if you have diabetes and you suffer from that, you have to take insulin. Otherwise, nasty things will happen. Insulin has always been historically human-derived because it has to be. It hasn't been human-derived over 20 years. So this is exactly the same level of technology that we are dealing with here. We have exoskin, and as you can see by that amazing image there, the white dotted line underneath is the epidermal junction, and above that is the exoskin itself. And you can see by the light source where it's sitting mid-epidermis. Now that's pretty incredible. So the exoskin itself does contain exosomes, and because the unbelievable size of them, because they are directly taken from the human source originally prior to its biomimicking, they are still that small, so they will penetrate into the skin. This is the only cream technically you would need to use alongside the exo treatment from the injectable via the needling device, and this is their home care. This also can be used as an overview serum for most conditions. Now, this is exciting. So we have a little something happening soon. And again, next week, we'll go into this a little bit deeper. Now, what we have here is a new revolution when it comes to exosome therapy. Exosomes as an ingredient, as we said before, are letters of communication that go to every single cell, which means it can, in essence, treat most conditions, including hair. Now, the exoskin that we have already would be great for androgenic alopecia and things like that, absolutely. But also there are so many other forms of hair loss, whether it's sun-induced, hormonal. We need to target those as well. And a lot of these treatments need consistent aftercare. They need to be worked with going forward forever. So if you have androgenic alopecia, those sorts of things, we need to trick the brain and the body into believing that having hair is normal, as opposed to the other way around. When people are losing hair, the body thinks it's completely normal. So DermapenWorld have created this coming soon ingredient, and we have the ExoGrow, which is the treatment in clinic. We have the tonic, we have a scalp mask, we have a shampoo, we have an ExoGrow conditioner. There are two others that are going to add to this portfolio, which I am going to be annoying and not tell you about, because they are coming sooner and they're a little bit exciting and slightly off topic. So we'll talk about those more at a later date. Excuse me, someone's got their sound on. Could you turn it off, please? The exosomes before and afters, as you can see, these are pretty great. You've got acne, aging, melasma, rosacea, scarring, dyschromia. So yes, that does sound like a little bit too good to be true, but it isn't, because like I've stated, these genius little bubbles of information will go and target each and every one of these conditions that we're looking for. This is the kit that you can actually purchase. We can talk about that at the end of this evening. Now, the MG collection. So this is new, or relatively new, and it's very, very innovative. And as it says right there, the versatility is quite incredible. There's 5 of them, and this gives you the ability to do many things. So for many years, needling was always considered a standalone treatment for collagen induction. Okay, so removing fine lines and wrinkles, stretch marks, scarring. Absolutely, 100%. That's what it is. However, what many people used to do was they would treat it for that particular condition, whatever they may be looking at. They would then put the pen down, then go on and do other treatments, other things, RF, various facials, other medical interventions. Well, no, because we all know that the skin has an enormous, unbelievable barrier. The stratum corneum is a brick wall, and it's very, very difficult for you to get any regenerative activity within the skin itself without breaking that brick wall. And that's either done with a needle or with a needling device. The only other options that you would have topically would be actives, but anything else doesn't really do anything. So we need to break that skin. So the MG collection can 100% be used with your collagen inductions, your scarring, all of those things. They can also be used as a standalone medical facial. Once every 4 weeks, 6 weeks, however your clients are actually doing that at the moment. You change it up every time, skin changes. The months of the year change, the seasons, everything is very different. So you will use different products for different conditions at different times. It suddenly makes this whole thing so much more bespoke. Now, this is the first one. So this is the MG HA35. Now, what excited me was glides are necessary with most needling treatments. Okay, you have to have them. You want to make the skin, the treatment pleasant for the client, and you want the needles to glide seamlessly over the skin. That's fine. But we also want that product to penetrate the skin and then start working inside the skin in a more orthogonal way to be able to get it through and do all the things we're looking for when it comes to not just a collagen induction, but also the conditions the skin may be showing. So this first one has got HA, the calciums, vitamin C, zinc, and panthenol. So it's a lovely little combination for people who are, a little bit dehydrated, maybe slightly younger skin, don't have too many problems, but they want nice maintenance. This is, in my humble opinion, pretty incredible what's in this. So you have 35 milligrams of HA. That's extremely high. You've got the calcium technology, which we talked about. We also have the telomere technology. We have vitamin C, we have retinaldehyde, we have retinol palmitate, vitamin E, and zinc. So all of those ingredients have a part to play in regeneration, but also to help with the wound healing so we don't get any negative possibilities going forward, the maintenance of the barrier function, and the zinc, which is a wound healing process. So this is really kind of an overall of everything. It's beautiful. RAS, more targeted for anti-aging, but really you could use this for scarring as well. So you would use this for stretch marks, keloid, hypertrophic, atrophic. It has retinaldehyde, copper peptides, which is a trypsin inhibitor, but one of the first lines of defense post-trauma. You've got modeling moderators and wound healing processes. So this to me will be target work. But as you can see, as I'm going through this, you can see this is where the bespoke thing comes in. Do you want to use it all over the face? Is it necessary? Is there an area where there's a bit of scarring? Use it on that. And then use another one, which would be more tolerant or more acceptable for the rest of the skin. You can mix them together. I wouldn't in this instance. One of my favorite ways of doing it is the MH35 with the bright 50/50. We'll get to that in a second. And you'll get that hydration, restoration activity, but also that glow, that sparkle. This one is more, in my opinion, more targeted to the specific areas of concern. And here's the bright. You have all of those incredible ingredients. Tranexamic acid is amazing. Kojic acid, vitamin C, liquid berberine, copper peptides, they're all very, very strong terrosinase inhibitors. So perfect for the conditions you may want to treat this for, like the melasmas and the pigmented issues through sun. But it also will give you that sparkly, glowing skin that we all want. So this is why I just said I would mix maybe half of this with the MG35 and you get the best of both worlds. So that's where the bespoke thing comes in. Look at what the skin is showing visually and then act accordingly. We will have one of these serums will absolutely work with that condition. And then the clear. So the clear will be more acneic skin, but not just acneic. It could be based on someone who's got overactive sebaceous activity or even underactive sebaceous activity, because those treatments are pretty much the same. We just need to even out the oil production. So all of the ingredients that sit inside this are not dramatic. They're not stripping. They're not angry. Because the last thing we want to do with acneic skin is strip the oil. We need to modulate it, make it happen naturally, back to how it should do. But we also have the PIH inhibitors in. We have the terrosinase inhibitors too, for people who, let's be honest, pickers, people who are working towards getting PIH issues because of squeezing or scratching or those sorts of things. So it's got a whole smorgasbord of information or products in there to help with the restorations of acneic, stroke, pigmented at the same time. This is the book that comes with it, and this is like a little Bible. It tells you everything you want to know. Now, we all know needling is not protocol-based, okay? It used to be back in the day. It's not anymore. We're looking at what the skin is showing, and then we act accordingly. It's down to us to make those decisions. However, DermapenWorld have given this brilliant book that actually inside it tells you everything you need to know about each and every single treatment. The depth is a very outline based because, again, that's down to you. But we know that the clinical outpoints are there for pink, pinpoint bleeding, or blood, depending on what you're looking to achieve. But it's all in there for you to look back on if you ever feel you need to. So very briefly, the 6 of them, EXO, will deal with most conditions, absolutely. Aging, RAS, but obviously you could also use 35 plus as well, acne clear, pigmentation, bright, stretch marks, RAS, or EXO in actual fact, and rosacea would be EXO, because EXO is a very different formulation when it comes to rosacea, because you do need to restore the skin. But we'll talk about more on that when we do a specialized webinar relating to rosacea. This is a great study that actually shows the differences. The first one on the left-hand side shows you the topical application, and you can see it's not really going anywhere. The second one is injection via a needle, and you can see it's very focused on just specific points. And the last one is injection via Dermapen, and you can see the flooding. And this isn't that deep. So this is why I'm saying the advanced medical facial, call it however you wish, but this is your every 4 to 6 weeks consistently of implanting these incredible ingredients to restore the skin from the inside out, which is exactly what we're looking to do. The other amazing philosophy is this one. So I think sometimes I personally was the same way. How do we apply an acid over a peel? That was always a bit like, oh. However, they pulled it out the bag. They really have. And I understand it so much more after studying it a lot more. Historically, when you're trying to deal with more stubborn conditions, especially pigmentation, especially if that pigmentation is dermal, you've got to get extremely aggressive with what you're trying to do. And using an acid to target pigmentation, you would need a very low pH, which would break through the stratum corneum and then work its way down to get to its target. Now, with that comes a multitude of problems like PIH, of course, but the downtime, the drama, the pain, all of those things, which is why a lot of people have stepped back from that now and they're doing a little bit more superficial and a lot more often. And I get that. I think that's amazing. However, if you really want to fix something, you've got to get it in there. DermapenWorld are the first to actually come up with a group of acids, which in my humble opinion are incredible put together. And because you have the channels open already, it means the pH power of the acid will be higher. Ergo, very little erythema or pain or downtime. These acids would never reach their goal with the pH that this is without needling it in or post-needling. And that to me is a game changer. It's anabolic, it works its way through. It can be used on all skin types and all skin conditions because of what the combination of acids there are in this. This is the combination. To me, this is mind-blowing. Mandelic, lactic, hyaluronic, pyruvic, kojic, retinaldehyde, arbutin, niacinamide, ferulic, copper, resorcinol, dimetisorbide, and the pH of 2.05. This is an incredible. Now, there are a few ingredients in there that made me very, very excited, and ingredients that have always caused, sometimes in people's opinions, a little bit problematic. So lactic, mandelic lactic were always considered very superficial, don't really do much, but that's absolutely so far from the truth. They're very large molecular weight, so it's very hard for them to get in without a low pH. And also, once they get in, they could cause issue if not in the right environment. The other one is pyruvic. For any medics on board, you may remember a thing called the Krebs cycle, which usually sends people to complete panic when I mention it. But part of that is actually the Krebs cycle is the process in which adenosine triphosphate is produced. That's ATP, which we most know it as, and it is found in all cells. It's the unit of currency, people call it, or I happen to call it, the skin's petrol. It's the cell's petrol, as our mitochondria is our skin's battery. So that means lactic and pyruvic acid are part of that Krebs cycle. So it means that it's part of us. It's inherent. So pyruvic acid can be used on every single skin type, up to skin type 6 without any fear. And it's also put in the same category as TCA from a power perspective. So why it's not screaming for the rooftops more, I honestly don't know. But obviously, amazing, amazing acids. So because these acids, of course, all do individual things, they target specific things. It's not like a big mass. They all look for specific things. We've opened that channel. The acid is in. It works where it needs to go. It's self-neutralizing. I've done quite a few now, and I've heard warmth, a tiny bit of tingling. I've never had anyone react. I'm not saying that can't happen, but it seems to be relatively rare. And the way the process has been created, the ingredient list has been manufactured, and the treatment is done, absolutely is extremely rare. And when you see the before and afters, it's quite incredible that you're dealing with that one treatment on the left, one treatment, an Indian lady with melasma. The second one was 2. The last one is a tough one when you're looking at an Asian patient, when they've got that deep inset pigmentation. That's a really tough treatment to tackle. This is 8 treatments. Look at the result. Nodular cystic acne, Indian, 3 treatments. Amazing. Popular acne, 5 sessions. Nodular cystic, 10. So the nodular cystic is a lot tougher, hence why we would have taken a lot more treatments, but look at the difference. And there's one more. Historically, a lot of people got very overly excited with the prospect of needling being phenomenal for things like box scars, ice pick scars, acne scars. Having said that, in some situations, it's not that easy to do it because The scar could be tiny comparative to the size of the needle cartridge. So you need to break that skin, that sinew, like subcision has been done for over 50 years. So we've got to break that. We've got to get it down. So what DermapenWorld have created is this Uber MD. This is targeted, specific for deep lines and wrinkles and pitted scarring. The acid is a powerhouse. It's a pH of 1.52. It's got chlorotic acid, or commonly known as TCA, salicylic, retinaldehyde, and a carboxylic acid. So it's a powerhouse. You would never use this over the entire face or any part of the body. You would literally use it as an individual targeting treatment, just like these two here. So on the left-hand side, the line technique is being done, where literally with a DermapenWorld stick is just drawing them away. So you're looking at deep wrinkles on the forehead, the Gabriella's marionettes. Wherever you see a deep line that could be quite difficult to remove, off you go. It frosts immediately. On the right-hand side is the absolute, for me, it's incredible. This is the dots technique. This is the deep inset scarring removal. Doesn't hurt him. He'll be quite happy with that because it's fibrotic under there. And both of the peels are self-neutralizing, and you just apply the mask post right after. As soon as it frosts, the mask goes on and it feels amazing. So you can see by those first two images, especially the second one, that top image in the second one is deep acne scarring and unbelievably difficult to remove. So after 6 treatments of the point-to-point technique, look at the scar has now become completely different scar. It's a tiny bit more atrophic. It's much closer to the skin, and your needling treatment now will completely remove that relatively easily. And that image on the right-hand side is that particular lady in the video before. It's 4 treatments, and you can see the difference between her lines on her forehead and glabella line. They've also done this amazing protocol in relationship to scarring. So I did touch on a thing called subcision earlier, and that's what this is. It's the mimic of subcision, where a needle goes under the skin, breaks those sinews to allow those scars to be released. Now, in this instance, when you turn the pen on, you turn it up and up. The speed is really high. The high speed, you turn it up, and as soon as you hit 3 mil, it just goes down really low. So it has the slowest speed, the furthest depth is 3 mil. You go in horizontally, and you go in at acute angles either side, thinking, getting under the scar, which is actually where you want it to go. So think of stretch marks, atrophic scarring. You would push the skin slightly towards the device and go underneath with the needles where that starts the trauma under the skin. It's absolutely amazing. We also have our LED. We all know that LEDs is amazing, and those that know me, obsessed. Don't argue with NASA is another one that you have my tombstone. We have 3 of them, which are quite unusual. The face, neck and décolleté, and hand. The hand one is amazing. So I love them because you can wear them, wander around the house, do the ironing, cook the tea, do your thing. They're also a really, really good device for you to sell on to your clients. They're created by the initial FDA from Omnilux. Omnilux actually make them. It's the only device that we actually outsource. Why would you not outsource the originators of LED? They're relatively inexpensive for us to purchase, and it's something I really, really believe in. I really believe that clients should be using LED all the time at home. And there is an issue when it comes to cost for them to purchase one of the professional machines that we use. We use them in clinic, of course, amazing. But if we've got someone with pigmentation, scarring, hair, they need to do this 2 or 3 times a week to maintain what we're doing in clinic. So this is a perfect opportunity. We also have the highly fused mask, and it's really good to use a mask, right? We all love it. But sometimes if we're in clinic and we want to do a mask and we want to do LED, suddenly that's like 40 minutes of treatment, or even half an hour. It's a long time. So this mask here, the Lumifuse, will actually go underneath LED. So it cuts your time in half, but it will give them that glow, sparkle, hydration. It's beautiful. And then we have the DP Dermaceuticals. Now, I need to caveat this right now before I start on anything. In my humble opinion, and I believe I'm right, DermapenWorld are the only product of dermaceutical brands that are 100% created to be needled into the skin. Now, just think about that for a second. Every product within the portfolio can be needled in safely. That is unheard of and something that sets us apart from everybody else. Now, I do know that some people will go, oh, but you can't use SPF afterwards. Oh, you can't use X. Well, you absolutely can if that product or that brand has been created to do so. So first of all, we have Clinic Prep. This is your hypochlorous, which you can use, you just use all the time, to be honest. This is also a coming soon. I'm going to leave you with that one. We have a Tri-Phase Cleanser, often referred to as a lazy doctor. We love this. This is my personal favorite, the two of them. You put it on, it's like an oily consistency. It goes creamy. You apply water, it goes foamy. You wipe it away. It's beautiful. The Clear, more for oily or prevention. Some people like to feel the skin is slightly tighter after it's been washed. Or it could be used in the shower, things like that. Hyaloactive has been around since DermapenWorld's inception. You can use this if you need to, well, as I've said already, you can use them all as glides in actual fact. However, this was the one that came from the inception. So if you're doing a client and you're doing stretch marks, so a large surface area, this is perfect for that. I would definitely use this for that. Antioxidant serum. So you're looking at the aging, slightly sun-damaged skin. It's got aloe vera, it's got niacinamide, it's got vitamin C. Lots of amazing things in there that can help to help stabilize protection when you've got someone who's got more pigmented or sun-damaged skin. Vitamin-rich repair. This is a no-brainer. This is your post-treatment every time. This is your non-negotiable to be used after you've finished every single treatment. Now, this is quite a big thing to say, actually, when you look at this, because look what's in it. Vitamin A, B, C, E. It's got retinol palmitate. It's got squalene, which we adore as part of the body's natural moisturizing factor. You've got resveratrol, which I'm obsessed with. You've got some powerhouses of ingredients in there to put on post-needing. Amazing. Retinol active. So retinol active, they've gone straight for the big boy, retinaldehyde, which is the closest thing to retinoic acid. It's got vitamin E, so it's a protection of the external barrier. You will not feel irritated for this at all. I use this day and night, and it's become one of my favorite products. Bright light and clear. So bright light, obviously, if you've got someone who's you're dealing with or working with towards pigmented conditions, or if they are prone to those sorts of things like melasma, this is something that I would give them as a serum consistently, especially in the summer months. With clear lotion, we've got salicylic, lactic, mahuka honey, niacinamide. This is there again to balance the oil. It will not strip in any way. It will balance, help to remove any clogged pores, etc., and exfoliate them through superficial layers of the skin without causing trauma, because that's the last thing, as we've said before, the last thing we do is strip in any way. This one I love. I was so impressed that they produced this. So historically, let's be honest, if I'd ever done something that was like quite traumatic, bit of blood, but also outside of clinic, if I was trying to help a client who's like got a compromised skin barrier, or if they've burnt themselves, I would always say to them, just go and get yourself some Vaseline, because it occludes the skin, completely occludes it. So if you've got transepidermal water loss, the last thing you want is anything active on. You need to, for a period of a few days, maybe a couple of weeks, you want to occlude the skin to allow the body to naturally repair. It repairs from the inside out, not the outside in, remember? So this is actually created for more scar-related situations, but you can absolutely use this with someone who's got a compromised barrier. So if you're in a surgical environment or a medical environment and you've had something quite aggressive, they will use silicone sheeting, which is that protection against the outside world. This is in a cream. This is a silicone liquid sheeting in a cream. I'm so impressed. So if you've done even the smallest of scar, you've done stretch marks, you just pop this over the top. It's going to help to heal, definitely, but it's going to occlude it from the outside world immediately to allow that healing to work naturally. There are 3 masks: the highlight active, the bright light, and the RER. RER is a beautiful eye mask, which also can be used on scars, actually. That small little scars, you can pop that on afterwards to calm everything down. The bright light you saw, which is more, the hydrofuge isn't on there either, sorry, that should be there. That's the one we saw earlier under the LED. The bright light is going to give you that sparkly, shiny, glowy, night out skin, I call that one. And your highlight active is your go-to. That's what everyone should have in their cupboard at all times. It's the hydration. It's beautiful. And it's an unusual mask that it has ear hooks. So you pop it on, pop it over your ears, off you go, and do your cleaning. You can do your cooking, do whatever you need. It stays where it needs to be. And then we have the Cover Recover. Now, this is a game changer when it comes to SPFs. You are more than welcome to put this on post. 100%. Why wouldn't you? I want a protection. I have heard randomly that, what did I hear the other day? That the channels are open for 24 hours. Can you imagine? As if. Clinically, 15 minutes. But in actual fact, you're looking at around 4. So by the time you've done the treatment, you cleans them down, you collect, steam them all, they're all fine. Hypochlorous, I'm so sorry. Put all their products on, etc. It's definitely that amount of time. And we want also 2 steps here. One, we want to put an SPF because of pathogen activity outside, but also we want them to leave the building looking lovely. And believe me, they absolutely do. Choose the color that's appropriate. There's one that fits everybody, pretty much, in actual fact. And they will leave looking great. It's like a makeup in actual fact. It has thermoregulators, which is a TRT production. So it's the how the blood supply swells and contracts in heat and cold. It's patented peptide technology. It's got iron oxide. It's got ATP energizers in there. It's got vitamin A, C, and E. It's got a silicone matrix, so that's that protection, that support from the outside world. Hyaluronic acid, probiotics in mineral sunscreen. So it's actually a treatment as well as in skin. Now, what happens when you join us as a team, as the DermapenWorld UK team? It's amazing because we are UK based now, which makes it so exciting. You're part of the world's leading needling device and company, created in beautiful Sydney, Australia. Been around since 1976, and the company itself, as you know, and we've already stated, it's the first vertical needling treatment of its kind. We have unbridled brand recognition. It is UK based, so easy discoverable, exclusive access to all of the protocols. You have a 7-year warranty, world-class business support, cutting-edge training, and next day delivery. And it comes with every possible FDA and CE, everything you possibly want to go along with it. We also have this incredible thing that's been it's a knowledge base like Encyclopedia Britannica. They've been around for so long now that they have this most incredible amount of information that is completely accessible to everyone. And it's the ATP zone. And inside it, you have huge amounts of knowledge. You have the protocols, you have all the forms, you have videos, you have like so much. You also have access to the incredible Dr. Andrew Christie, all of his education that he's been doing for well over 10 years. Video, written, as well as webinars, they're all on there. You have device tutorials. It teaches you how to use the device. It teaches you how to turn it on, how to turn it off. It has all of the protocols step by step in video format and in written. It has over 2,000 before and after pictures you can use. It has social media. And we're so happy now that because it is UK based now, we're getting so many incredible before and afters and social media from some incredible UK based practitioners that will all be starting to be uploaded on this. As well as we're doing clinical studies and trials of our own in-house, which are really, really exciting. There's a couple of those coming up in the next couple month or so that we can share with you. And if that wasn't good enough, they've even wrote the book. So the first one is what you get, the SOS handbook. That's all the protocols, simply put, written format. The second one is the whole story and philosophy behind DermapenWorld and all the ingredients that sit inside it. And the Synergy of the Solutions is a very detailed book related purely to leading itself, very unbiased and honest about the treatment, and definitely well worth reading. As I've already stated, we have the DermapenWorld socials. We will share everything you share and vice versa. That's how our family that we want to create in this country will happen, that we all work together and support each other. So if you can tag DermapenWorld, DermapenWorld_UK on both social media platforms, and we will share everything we need to share. I've also, the lovely Kelly, our UK director, has offered for everyone who's joining this evening, buy 3, get 1 free on those amazing MG serums that we talked about earlier. But also, I thought this because it's one of my favorite products of all time, 50% on the 250 ml retinol active. That is a massive bargain. You will adore it, I promise you. To do that, just join the ATP at DermapenWorld.com. Take a screenshot of this if you can. Then once you've done all of that, contact Kim at DermapenWorld.co.uk, expressing that you were on this evening, and she will give you that discount going forward. If any of the team are actually on at the moment, if they could put that web address in, I would really appreciate that, so they can just literally copy and paste it from that as well. So that's it for this evening. I hope that was okay and you got enough out of it. Let me see if there are any questions. You've already done it, Sophie. Thanks, Sophia. Thank you very, very much. Already in there. So Sophia has popped that in for you, all that information. So no questions. Okay. Does that mean I answered all of them? Bizarre. If not, do not worry. You can always get hold of me, or any of the things that I've talked about this evening, or anything else. Just ask me. We're all here. We're all here. Oh, there is one. Can you combine PRP with ExoGrow? Absolutely not. You wouldn't want to. PRP is 13 growth factors. ExoGrow is up to 300. But what we can do is we can talk about that in a different thing. I love PRP. Don't get me wrong, but it is definitely patient dependent, as I'm sure you're fully aware, whereas Exo isn't. It's very different. Collaboratively, maybe one-on-one off, absolutely. But that's something that we could definitely talk about with you because, you know, as I said, PRP is great. Dermapen 10 years now, and I used to love it. I only would recommend it. Oh, thank you so much. Rhoda, that doesn't exist anymore. So yes, give me a email, text, whatever you need. I'm just andrew.hansford@dermapenworld.co.uk. And I'll do whatever I can to help you. So remember, the 31st of this month is a whole hour dedicated to exosomes. So that will be interesting. It's going out on socials tomorrow. It already has. Some of you already joined. It's going back out again tomorrow. but the team will also send that to you if you show interest. So thank you so much, and I really enjoyed it this evening. I hope you enjoyed it too. Take care, and I hope to see some of you soon.